Although God doesn't need us, amazingly, He chooses to work through us. Let's talk about it. When a person is transformed by God through faith in Christ, He gives His own Spirit to dwell within them. So changed are we that we are considered an entirely new creation, a new creature, not what we once were. And through this ongoing experience of walking by the Spirit, God is at work within us to will and work according to His good pleasure, gradually making us become more and more like His Son, Jesus Christ. From a self-centered, sinful heart, our God abounds in love and chisels and molds us to become abounding in love like Him, to the point that all of His people are called and equipped to go and give our lives in service to those around us. And some He calls to another part of the world, to bring the love of Christ to a people not their own, to provide for their earthly and eternal needs. And this week, I want to share some highlights from our friend who continues to work in Asia to do just that.
Good morning, Strathmore Alliance. This is Bob coming to you from Southeast Asia. Karen and I are so thankful for your partnership in what we are doing here. Life for us has been challenging. For over 7 weeks, we were not allowed to leave our homes except to be able to go out and get food. People were being arrested for walking or exercising outside. As of May 8th, we are now allowed to go for walks or runs, which has been very good for our souls. As you know, we've been working with the Rohingya here in our country for the past 7 years. These people are the most persecuted people group in the world, according to the UNHCR, and their lives in our country are not much better than they were in Myanmar. When the government shut down all businesses and construction sites and food establishments, almost all of the Rohingya that we were working with became unemployed. Our whole team started getting phone calls by the dozens and messages all day, every day from desperate Rohingya people who only make enough money to eat and live and send a little to their families in the refugee camps or in Myanmar. They didn't have any food. They had to stay in their homes, and so they reached out to us because they know that we love them and would try and help them if we could. For the last 8 weeks, we've been feeding thousands of Rohingya refugees in our city. The more we expanded our reach, the more calls we would receive. There were days it was just overwhelming. The need was so great, and we are a small group of 7 or 8 people. We were able to raise thousands of dollars from a variety of sources in Canada and here to feed these desperate people. All over our area, the police and the army had set up roadblocks, as no one was allowed to be out unless they were an essential service. Thankfully, through some local contacts, 3 of our team were able to obtain letters from the government that gave us freedom to travel to deliver the food. At the check stops, we simply showed the letter and they let us through. Our lockdown has just been extended until June 9th. Our borders are still closed. The needs are still great, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God. Thank you for your continued prayer and financial support. With money you gave, you helped us feed the poorest of the poor in our country. We were supposed to leave to come back to Canada on May 18th, but those flights were canceled, so we don't know when we will be back, but we do look forward to being able to come and spend some time with you later this year. We just want to say thank you for your continued support.
Not all of us are missionaries, but we are members of the same church. And therefore, would you pray for our brothers and sisters in Christ who are reaching people with the gospel who have never heard of Jesus before? Ask that God would make them bold to proclaim the good news fully as God directs and opens doors for them to do so. And pray that all of us, wherever we are, would fulfill the calling that God is transforming and equipping us to accomplish, that of making disciples of all nations.